But at the same time, the kingdom of God is a reality. If you open your eyes to it, you see something of it realized in a Christian church where they do not fight too much, where they love each other. You see something of the principles of the kingdom there. At least there you hope to find peace. You hope to find righteousness in the way they deal with each other. Think of Romans 14 verse 17 where Paul says, the kingdom of God is not eating and drinking, so we're fighting about what you could eat and drink. No, that's not the kingdom. The kingdom is not eating and drinking. The kingdom is righteousness, joy, and peace. Or the other order. That's right. You don't have to translate from my Dutch knowledge of the Bible. That's right. That's what it is. At least you hope to find this in the church. But not only there, a Christian family is just as much an expression of the kingdom of God. And again, why is it a part of the kingdom? Because the parents would say, even if their children did not make a confession of faith, the parents will say, they might not say it with words, but they say it by their behavior. Here we live according to the rules of the king. Where under his authority, under his supervision, he decides. And we're not going to do anything that goes against the king. So a good Christian family is, the 2K people do not want to accept this, but a Christian school is just as similarly an expression of the kingdom of God. Not because all the students are Christians, but because the leaders, the teachers, and the board will say, here we do things according to the principles of the kingdom of God. In all weaknesses, we try to be an expression of the rule of Christ over our lives. I'll come back to that because that's an important point that I didn't mention so far. And you could go on and on. Even the Christian state, that's one of the most difficult things. Danny promised me he would go into the Christian view of the state in one of his lectures, because that is such an important thing. Because that also gives us a proper view of what politics should be. And perhaps that is, in practical sense, one of the biggest fights that we are having with the 2K people. Because even in the Christian state, where so many people are not Christians at all, we hope to see something of Christian principles. And I think in the Netherlands of the 17th century is not too bad an approximation of that ideal, where Christian values were self-evident and people lived according to them, although perhaps only a minority of the people were really born-again Christians. So we see realized in all structures, societal relationship that God has instituted. And here's something that I suppose Danny will also go into this, and it will come back time and again. That's an interesting distinction that was made in Christian philosophy between structure and direction. Structure means we have to do with the creation order. God instituted the church, the state, marriage, the family. And under God's providence, it was men who also made schools and companies and what have you. Now, these are structures that they are not good or bad in themselves. That God instituted them. This is the way he organized human life, partly also through historical development. The direction has to do with the fact, is such a family, such a marriage, such a state, such a school, such a party, such I don't know what, directed toward God and his service, worshiping God, in all weakness, living according to God's principles? Or is it someone that is serving sin, serving Satan? And there are basically only two directions. And here you see why the kingdom of God in Bible never is restricted to some societal relationship. Why the kingdom of God can never be limited just to the church.